and kind of looking abroad. And there's just so much going. This slide has got a lot of noise. Don't read it. I'm just going to go through it. It's mainly just so I can remember all the points that I'm going to make, and there's tons of other things that you can make here. But taking Ukraine and Russia out of the system, Ukraine because it's invaded Russia because of sanctions, platinum and palladium are very, very, they're necessary to create catalytic converters for your cars and emission standards. So CAFE standards are probably not going to go away. And we've just gone through a used car price spike, driving CPI headlines for quite some time because of chip shortage. Well, now, if we have an inability to get access to the emission equipment and create the emission equipment for cars, that can also put a crimp on it. Neon, Ukraine is a big exporter of neon, and those are needed for lasers. One of the things that we know we need is more ability to create more chips or semiconductors. You need lasers to do that. So now a crucial component to lasers is also in short supply. Wheat, corn, sunflower oil. Ukraine is a big exporter of these. It's considered the breadbasket of Europe, and it's great farmland, and there's a lot of people that are buying from them that are already politically unstable. So we have the geopolitics that are unstable because of the invasion, but then there could be hotspots in Egypt and Turkey and elsewhere because they're big importers of their foodstuffs that are no longer online. So do we have even more political unrest elsewhere and have more hotspots? Ammonia and potash, I'll just throw those together, basically fertilizer. Both of these countries are big exporters of the basic commodities for fertilizer, which would continue to put upward pressure on foodstuffs. So there's just a lot of things to work through, all of which is saying commodity prices are probably going to continue to stay elevated from here. So the next question is, well, if all we need to do is reduce the tension and get out of this and get things working again, and all of a sudden this comes down and it goes away, how can we do that? And how could we replace basically the oil supply that is taken off market with the sanctions and companies just refusing to trade with Russia? Well, what are the options? Well, Venezuela. The U.S. and Venezuela relationships have been very poor for quite some time. They were a large exporter of oil. That has not been happening. They have a lot of problems in their economy, and the Biden administration is actually going out there. But once again, the relationship between the U.S. and Venezuela, and really Venezuela and the world, is not the greatest. So there would be some political pushback or sacrifice. Well, Libya is offline. Gaddafi was killed, and their economy is pretty much offline for quite some time. Probably not going to be able to do it, and I don't know that they're really excited to work with the U.S. either. And then Canada is saying that the Keystone XL, not Keystone Pipeline, I'll call it the Keystone Pipeline, but XL is just the additional component to the Keystone Pipeline. Canada's saying, get that open, we can fill the gap, and possibly, but the politics say that's probably not going to happen. And even if they said, yeah, no, go ahead and do that, it's going to take quite some time to get a pipeline built and constructed, probably years, and hopefully this is done and gone by then. Well, what about just turning on the spigots? We got all these shale oil, right? What?
That's what Conoco said the other day. They're like, everyone says, just turn it on. Turn it on.
It's like a light switch, right?
It takes me 8 months, and Pioneer said 8 months. That takes us 12 months.
It's like the lockdown thing, right? The economy can just be turned on and off and no problems. That's not the way it works.